This month, Mercury moves into Sagittarius, and Mars and Venus, the lovers, both move into Capricorn. All of this, an empowered moment and more in my new intuitive energy forecast for the month of December 2025. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger, here with your monthly intuitive energy forecast. For this month, we'll be using the Sirian Starseed Tarot by Patricia Corey and Alyssa Bartha. This is going to be the main message for everyone. Your special message card this month, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Earth and Sky Oracle deck by Sophie Bashford. Before we get into looking at those stones of choice or talking about the astrology for this last month of the year, let's go ahead, close our eyes, and do an empowered moment. So as you close your eyes, take a deep breath. And as you exhale, release any tension or stress in your body, mind, or energy field. Just being in the present moment, the here and now. Visualizing golden white light of healing, protection, and guidance all around you. And whether you see or feel or sense or just know that you're surrounded in that unconditionally loving golden white light, take a deep breath and imagine that you're breathing it into every cell of your body. As you exhale, letting your body relax even more. Feeling grounded, safe, and secure. Feeling rooted into Earth Mother Gaia. And as this is the last month of the year of 2025, let's imagine and visualize an etheric, an energetic, a magical door before us. This door can be made out of any material. It can be any size, any shape, any color. But imagine that this is the door to your future. And where you stand now before the door is in an aspect, a part of your life that is now being released and let go. Reflect on the energy of 2025. Reflect on the situations and circumstances that you moved through in this year of 2025. And take a couple of steps towards that door to the future, that door of the unknown, but into something new and exciting and fresh. Take a deep breath here. And thank all of the situations, all of the people, all of the energies within yourself that have been a part of this year, 2025, that have interacted with you in this year of 2025. And ask all of these various energies or circumstances or relationships. Ask that they, in whatever parts are still necessary, travel with you through that door. But for those aspects and those parts that are ready to be released and let go so that you can move forward in your evolution and growth, thank them for being with you. Thank them for the lessons they taught you. Thank them for their presence in your life. And let's take a couple of more steps towards that door to the future. And maybe even reaching out and putting your hand on the doorknob, or if there's a secret entrance, kind of putting your energy field close by that energetic entrance, but yet not yet walking through. Just getting ready to walk through and starting to feel excitement about what lies ahead of you. Even though you don't know what's on the other side of that door, you know it's something fresh and new. It's planting the seeds of new beginnings for your soul to travel forward, to experience new things and travel into new horizons. So take a deep breath in, breathing in the excitement and the anticipation. Thank your angels and guides for walking with you during this year of 2025. And thank those spiritual helpers, angels and guides that will travel with you into the next year's adventure of 2026. And this is where we'll just take one last deep healing, cleansing, and balancing breath, as we're not quite through the rest of this year yet, so we're not quite ready to open that door. But you are getting closer and you are getting ready. And you're drumming up and expanding into that excitement of the adventure that lies ahead with joy and happiness, with abundance in your energy field. And taking again one last breath. As you exhale, you can say a mental goodbye to the past that has served you well or taught you well. Release what you no longer need. Again, honor that. Thank that energy. But release it all the same. And as you take your last deep inhale and exhale, when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and return to this time and place and space. And let's go ahead and take a look at our stones of choice. So these are all forms of quartz crystal, and they each only have 3 keywords or phrases to it. So listen to the keywords or phrases and choose the shape, the color, the essence of the energy that draws you in the most. The first stone of choice is rose quartz. So the rose quartz keywords are love, compassion, and emotional healing. The second stone of choice is clear quartz crystal. And the keywords for the clear quartz crystal are going to be clarity, intention, and amplification. And the last stone of choice is amethyst quartz. And the keywords for the amethyst quartz are going to be calmness, mental clarity, and spiritual awareness. So again, your stones of choice for this month are the rose quartz. These are huge stones here. And then we've got the clear quartz. It's an interesting shape with this one. And then the last stone of choice is the amethyst quartz. All right, let's put those aside. And let's talk about the numerology for this month. So December 2025, it's the last month of the year. And to find the universal month vibration, we're going to take the universal year vibration for 2025, which adds up to a 9. And we're going to add that to the number 12 because December is the 12th month of the year. When we add that 9 plus that 12, we get 21. And then we want to reduce that down to a single digit for numerology. And that's going to be a 3. So that 3 vibration for the month of December is about growth, and it is about expansion, and it is about creative self-expression and all forms of communication, speaking, teaching, writing, etc., even learning. And from a spiritual standpoint, the learning seems to really fit because we've learned a lot this year in this 9 universal year of closure, completion, and endings. And now we're in the last month of this year, a time where we often self-reflect and we often try to tie up loose ends or reflect on the lessons learned over the course of the year, or reflect on things that we've done that we wanted to do that maybe we didn't accomplish, how we're going to proceed as we move forward when we reach the new year. So that number 3, it's usually a number of happiness and joy and abundance and prosperity. But because it's a number of expansion, we can expand into the glass half full of that joy and happiness and abundance and prosperity, but we can also expand into the glass half empty mentality, which could include lack or feelings of feeling like we're, not good enough or haven't gone far enough or whatever have you. So definitely make sure that as this number 3 really rules the mental body in a sense, because when you think of speaking, teaching, writing, communication, and creative self-expression, it all comes from the mind. So this mental energy can expand in a great way or in a not so great way. So make sure you keep your mind on the dreams and visions and goals for the future. You keep your mind in a place of positivity as we round out this year, knowing that, next year is a whole brand new year and there's new and exciting things that are on the way. Now, we do want to look at the 21. Not that it's a master number or a karmic number, but we're going to actually look at the 21 as far as what major arcana of the tarot it relates to. And the major arcana is major arcana 21, the last of the major arcana. So it just happens to be that this year, 2025, in a 9 universal year of completion, closure, and endings, that the way it adds up with the month of December and the number 12 brings us to the last major arcana in the tarot, which is about completion and closure, the ending of a chapter, the ending of a cycle. Now, from a tarot perspective, it's the end of a spiritual cycle of growth and evolution. It oftentimes can mean success, and it can even mean success in our life purpose, career, who we are out in the world. But in the Sirian Starseed Tarot, you can see that the key word for major arcana 21, the world card, is Ascension. They call it Ascension instead of calling it the world. So this is about spiritual growth, spiritual evolution, spiritual ascension. And again, tying up those loose ends of all that we've learned. This was a clearing, cleansing, purging, and transmuting sort of year. And so now that's coming to a close. Now we can get ready to move on to a new cycle. This is about the ending of a cycle, but we're getting ready to move on to a new cycle. After the world card in the tarot, we go back to major arcana 0, which is the Fool, who's kind of taking a leap of faith or stepping off a cliff into something new, so to speak. And so we're preparing for some wonderful new beginning, a fresh start. And she's holding the world in her hands. So I want to say, like I hear in my mind, the world is your oyster. So don't think small. As you move into the next year, think big. The world is your oyster. You can accomplish anything, go anywhere, do anything, become anything. And this is kind of like the goddess energy, right? This is a goddess, and she's holding that world in her hands, and she's looking very confident and self-assured as she knows that she's done like she's accomplished a lot of evolution and growth. In fact, the World card is about accomplishment. So give yourself a pat on the back. Your angels and guides are applauding you. You've been through a lot. You've accomplished a lot. You have moved forward on the path of ascension for yourself. So this is the energy that is overseeing this month of December. So this is a very important last month. I mean, the last month of any year is always that important time of self-reflection and releasing, letting go, kind of bringing something to closure. But this one, in a 9 universal year, the 9 is the last of the single digits, which rules that completion and closure. And this is the last major arcana in the tarot, which rules that end of a chapter within your soul growth and evolution. So putting that all together, this is a really profound month and a really profound year. So make the most of it. And again, it's almost like we want to, again, applaud ourselves, right? Applaud yourselves for having gone through this journey this year. And healed as much as you have, and learned from a soul perspective as much as you have, because this is a very big deal. So let's go ahead and talk about the astrology for the month. Not every single day, but the astrology of significance. So we start out on the 4th of December with a full moon at 13 degrees of Gemini. So full moons are about completion and closure. And we have that right near the beginning of the month. The sign of Gemini is the sign that rules the mental realm. So what I find interesting about this full moon in Gemini on the 4th is that the sign of Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet that rules Gemini. Mercury is the planet that rules the mental realm and our thoughts and ideas and perceptions and perspectives and beliefs and our communications. And what I find interesting about Mercury ruling Gemini, and hence ruling this full moon, is that Mercury has very recently come out of a retrograde cycle of being in the sign of Scorpio, which is a sign of death and rebirth and transformation and regeneration and elimination and transmutation and rebirth and renewal. I guess we said rebirth, I think, but renewal. So with this full moon in Gemini, the same day, the ruler, Mercury, is in a difficult quincunx to Chiron, the wounded healer. And again, we're not going to talk about all the astrology for all of the days, but I wanted to bring up that Mercury is still in Scorpio, just for a little while longer. It will shift a little bit later this month into Sagittarius, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But right now, Mercury is in direct motion, but it's still in that sign of Scorpio, where it's been an extra long time because it went retrograde. So we're still healing and clearing and purging and transmuting some of those mental body energies, some of the mental body thoughts, perceptions, and perspectives, especially with that quincunx to Chiron on the same day of the full moon. So the next thing of significance is on the 10th of December, when Neptune, the ruler of the spiritual realm, turns back to direct motion at 29 degrees of Pisces. And 29 degrees of Pisces is the last degree of Pisces and the last degree of the zodiac, because after 29 degrees of Pisces, we go to 0 degrees of Aries, which is the new sign and the first sign of the zodiac. So with Neptune turning back to direct motion at the 29th degree of Pisces, it's considered a critical degree. And, Saturn is also very close to Neptune. Saturn also I think it was Thanksgiving Day in November for us in America. So I believe that was the 27th. Saturn went direct at 25 degrees of Pisces. And so they're only 4 degrees apart. And they're kind of telling this story of completion of old karmic lessons with Saturn on a third dimensional level, Saturn, as we start merging with the higher spiritual dimensions, Neptune, and our higher goals, dreams, and aspirations, Neptune. And again, Pisces is that very creative, artistic, spiritual, mystical sign of the zodiac. So now we have, again, both Saturn and Neptune in direct motion. And they're going to stay in Pisces for a little while. As we move into the first quarter of next year, they both will go into Aries. And they've been there once before, but this time they're going to go into Aries for good as far as in our lifetime. Well, Saturn might come back around depending on how old you are, but not Neptune, because Neptune moves slower. But as Saturn and Neptune come together in Aries at the 0 degree point of Aries early in 2026, it's going to help with this manifestation of the spiritual dreams and visions that you have. So definitely, be paying attention to what are your spiritual dreams and visions, and allow your imagination to go there, and believe in your ability through your positive thoughts. Believe in your ability to manifest the dream. Okay, then we're going to go to the 11th of December. This is when Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, and that full moon from the 4th of December, Mercury is going to move out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius, where it stays until January 1st. So Mercury, ruler of the mind, the mental realm, thoughts, etc., information, messages, is going to now be an inspirational, adventurous Sagittarius. Sagittarius likes to explore new horizons and really just expand the mind in every way that it possibly can. So again, for the rest of this month now, Mercury will be in Sagittarius. So we're going to feel uplifted as far as our thoughts and our perceptions. At least we should. And then on the 14th of December, Mars, the warrior, planet of energy, action, and forward movement, moves into Capricorn. And it's going to be in Capricorn until January 23rd. Now, Mars is again about that forward movement. Capricorn takes its time, and it has this sense of patience, but it's also very ambitious and goal-oriented, and focuses on what do I need to do to take the steps to move forward in my life purpose, my life path, and sometimes the career path as well. So we're going to become more organized. We're going to be feeling a little bit more ambitious, maybe have a little bit more of stamina. It's not a big rush of energy. Like when Mars was in Sagittarius, there was like time periods where we had huge amounts of energy and then maybe, felt a little burnt out. Now it's more sustained energy as we move forward through the sign of Capricorn with Mars. On the 19th of December, we have a new moon in Sagittarius. So now the moon and the sun are both in Sagittarius. It's at 28 degrees, so it's near the end of the sign. But this is, again, when we can plant seeds of intention as far as where you want to expand into, what your higher vision is, what new adventures you would like to have. That will be what that new moon in Sagittarius is all about. On the 21st is when we have the winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere. It will be the southern solstice the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. But this is when the sun moves into Capricorn either way. And so on the 21st, the sun will move into Capricorn, where it will be until January 19th. The sun likes to highlight things. It does rule our ego, but it rules how we shine our light. And so now with the sun joining Mars and Capricorn, it's shining its light on what is your life purpose? What are your goals? Where do you want to go as far as who you are out in the world? And we'll really be focused on that for the next month. And then on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve day, we have Venus, the planet of love, relationships, personal resources like money and finances. Venus also rules values and self-worth. She's going to be moving into Capricorn as well until January 17th. So now by this point, Mars is in Capricorn, the Sun is in Capricorn, and Venus is in Capricorn. And Venus being in Capricorn, as far as relationships, she's more about business. In fact, this could be more of a focus on like collaborative business sorts of relationships, or focused on her career and her purpose. As far as money and finances, again, what do I need to do? What steps do I need to take to bring about financial security? And I'm going to have patience and determination and persistence to get to my goals. As far as self-worth, I think she's probably pretty strong, pretty confident within herself, being in that sign of Capricorn. Now, sometimes Capricorn can have these inner feelings of insecurity, but they don't really talk about it and they don't really show it. But really on the outside, there's a sense of being grounded, because it is an earth sign. And again, focused on sense of, it can be a leadership sign, definitely. So managerial and leadership sign. So I feel like as far as how she's valuing herself, Venus, and she's valuing herself in a very self-respectful way. She's feeling good about herself right now. All right, so that's a little bit about the astrology of significance. Let's go ahead and take a look at the messages from our angels and guides. And the first card is Major Arcana 14. And in this deck, it's called Alchemy. So when we look at this card, Alchemy, this is really the Temperance card in the traditional tarot. And Temperance is about patience, balance, and moderation. And those keywords are going to hold true as well for the Alchemy card, Major Arcana 14 here. But beyond patience, balance, and moderation, you can see this alchemical process that's happening. I'm not even sure, every time I see this card, I'm not sure if that's a planet or what that actually is, but we see the fire of transmutation underneath, alchemizing whatever this energy is. It's alchemizing it, it's transmuting something from one form into another. So I feel like, this is that idea. If you looked at the Temperance card, the Temperance angel is usually holding like a vial of some sort of water in one hand and pouring that water out, and holding another vial of like fire in the other hand. And the fire, of course, is the flames are rising. So what happens when we put water and fire together? It's a form of alchemy where we take the qualities of the water and the qualities of the fire, and they become something different. So that's what we're doing in our lives. We're alchemizing certain aspects of ourselves or certain situations or relationships in our lives, and they're starting to take on a different form. They're starting to take on a different energy. But we have to have patience, right? Again, this is the Temperance card. So it's not something that happens overnight. It's happening slowly. And with all the planets that towards the end of the month are going into Capricorn, that is more of a slow kind of process where we have patience and persistence. And again, that determination to see something through. So allow that process to take place in the divine timing that it needs to. I also just heard manifestation in my mind. So I don't know how that really relates to the Temperance card, but I'm going to say there's something about the process of manifestation that's starting to take place. Again, have patience with the process of manifestation. We can visualize something, and sometimes we can manifest something fairly quickly, but it seems like the bigger our goal or the bigger our dream, sometimes that manifestation process seems to take a little bit more time. So focus on what do I want to manifest as I move into the new year of 2026, and then have patience with the steps that you're guided to take in order to get to that goal. So let's go ahead and look at the second card here. And interestingly, we've already seen this card because this is Major Arcana 21, the World or Ascension. Now, when I was shuffling, I hadn't yet pulled this card out to, show it as far as the numerology of the month of December, or the tarot card significance. And so this card came out of the deck. It wanted to be a part of the actual reading for the month. I mean, it is part of the reading because we already talked about it for the universal month vibration and the tarot card that connects to that universal month vibration. But now we actually have it in the reading too. So we started out with balance, harmony, alchemy, patience, persistence, turning something into something else, right? Letting the energy transition into something else. Now we're at the end of a cycle with the World card. We're bringing something to closure and completion with the World card. We have a successful completion and closure with the World card. And so we are on this path of ascension. This is saying that you've done a good job this year of 2025. And the steps that you're taking, the movements that you're moving through in December, it's going to take you to the next step of your evolution and growth. It's taking you on the next step towards your ascension. Ascension, spiritually speaking, yes, but I also want to say ascension into a new timeline, which will start to present itself in 2026. So know again that there is a successful completion so that a new beginning will come about during this month. All right, and then the last card, the last message here, is another major arcana. So a very powerful month. All three cards are major arcana cards. This is major arcana 10, the Great Wheel, which in the traditional tarot, it's the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune, endings and new beginnings. And the cycle just keeps on turning, right? There's no hard stop here. We just kind of move and transition from the ending and completion into the fresh starts and new beginnings with the Great Wheel. We're moving into something new with the Wheel of Fortune. And in fact, interestingly enough, the year of 2026, if you add 2, 0, 2, and 6, is a 10. And that's what this major arcana is, major arcana 10. Which, if you add 1 plus 0, reduces to a 1, which is about new beginnings, planting new seeds, setting your intentions for the new year. And I feel like they're just giving us a heads up here. Our guides are saying, okay, start to think about what are the seeds of intention that you want to plant for the new year of 2026, because we're ending this month of December. After the completion card or the World card, we come in with this movement into a new beginning. Usually the Wheel of Fortune portends a positive change for the better. Either way, there's a change, there's a shift. The Wheel of Fortune always brings a shift of energy. So we're really moving into this shift of energy. And it's interesting here that the geometric kind of shape, if you will, in the center are 3 kind of ovals that are intersected with one another. The number 6 in numerology is about balance. Usually it would be signified by an upward pointing triangle with 3 points intersected with a downward pointing triangle with 3 points, meaning there was 6 points, as above, so below. And it's a perfectly balanced kind of cube at that point, right? It's like the 6-pointed Star of David with the triangles. This one is more, it's like a softer energy. It's like a softer feminine energy with the ovals, because there's not really any hard point on the ends of these. But again, it's ever moving, right? There's no hard stops here. We're just moving through the ovals, moving through the ovals, moving through the ovals. And it's this more gentle, divine feminine energy. Even though when we move into 2026 and the 1 universal year, or the 10 universal year, that is more of a masculine energy. But this year, 2025, since this is December's video, was more of a feminine. 9 is more of that feminine, flowing, receptive energy. So I feel like we kind of are being told to have a little bit of both, right? Have a little bit of that feminine flow, faith, trust, receptive, allowing, and yet have a little bit of that divine masculine, take charge, make it happen, take an action, have confidence, be courageous, be a leader. That would all be that divine masculine energy. But this is a really, really good reading, right? We have really some very good messages here as we round out the year of 2025. All right, so let's see what message you get based on your stone of choice. So the first stone of choice was the rose quartz. Rose quartz people for the month of December. Rose quartz people, this one's calling my attention. And we've got, talk about go with the flow. We do have let it flow. Let it flow is your message. I'm probably going to say the goddess's name wrong. Benzatin. I'm going to say it's Benzatin. So Benzatin is here in the ocean. She's playing some sort of a musical instrument. And she's just letting that melody flow. She's letting whatever comes out of her soul just kind of flow on out through her artistic expression, her creative self-expression. So one, water, tune into your emotional body, your emotions, your feelings, your empathic ability. And that emotional body also houses the creative spirit within us. So again, the second message is about doing things that are creative, tapping into your creative self-expression. It doesn't have to be music, but it could be some sort of music, writing, poetry, art, dance, cooking, planting. It could be a variety of things here. So think outside the box when it comes to creative self-expression, because some people think they're not creative, but everybody has something that they are creative with. Some people have a creative mind, and maybe that's your form of creativity. But this is just allow it to kind of flow. Have faith and trust and just let it come out of you. And then I keep being drawn here to this little kind of water creature back here, right? It's almost like a water dragon. Interestingly enough, dragons are protective. So I feel like you're going to be protected in your creative ventures. Dragons are powerful. So I feel like whatever new creative ideas or intentions that you want to plant the seeds of or get ready to plant the seeds of as we move into that new year, that you're going to be protected and guided by this wonderful water dragon back here. The water dragon happens to be kind of a golden yellow color. So to me, it's reflecting that solar plexus chakra of moving into your confidence and courage, which is more of a masculine energy, and this is definitely more of being in the feminine energy, but we can balance the two, right? Again, going back to the alchemy card with the fire and the water. So we've got the fire of the solar plexus chakra, confidence, courage, leadership, take charge, and we've got this wonderful water energy of go with the flow, surrender, allow, have faith and trust. So I feel like we're supposed to be merging both of those energies for the month of December for the rose quartz people. All right, let's take a look at the message for the clear quartz people. So clear quartz people, message, clear quartz for the month of December. Clear quartz. This one on the bottom, I know I didn't even see it, but Earth Oracle. So again, it has a divine feminine, because if we think about Earth Mother Gaia, this is definitely divine feminine energy. This is definitely about nurturing something, nurturing yourself or nurturing the seeds that you're going to get ready to plant. And speaking of planting, we plant seeds in the earth, right? And this is Earth Oracle. This is Gaia. So I feel like when you actually plant your new seeds, metaphorically, for the new year of 2026, as we get there, make it a visualization as well. And if you can be outside when you do it, or at least ground yourself, if you're not going to be outside in nature, ground yourself before you visualize that you're actually planting seeds. And maybe seeing the seeds in your hand. What do my seeds of intention, what are they all about? Well, I have this goal in one of my seeds, and I have this other goal in another one of my seeds, and then visualize that you're planting each seed into Earth Mother Gaia, because here she is with her heart kind of on fire and really energizing those seeds of intention for you. Now, there is kind of a windy path here, so know that you might be taken on a little bit of a journey in 2026 when it comes to your seeds that you're planting, the goals that you have, and what you're moving towards. But the windy path is part of the exciting journey. It's like, where does the universe, where does spirit, where am I being taken next? What new adventures am I being shown as I'm on my windy path of moving towards my goals? I think we have a field of lavender here, if I'm not mistaken, lavender flowers. So this to me would be kind of like heart chakra energy. I don't know specifically if lavender relates to the heart chakra, but that's what's coming in, and that's what's lit up here on Earth Mother Gaia, is that heart chakra, that divine feminine, heart chakra. And that unconditional love that comes from our heart chakra is the healing power of the universe, is what can, again, really energize your seeds of intention as you move forward into this new year. Be gentle with yourself. I feel like, this is, again, this very divine feminine energy. Even though we're going into a masculine year, we keep getting this feminine energy coming in. So be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others, be gentle with, moving forward to attain your goals. In other words, don't push yourself or be hard on yourself or feel like it has to be in a certain time. Just really allow, because I think we're moving into just this higher paradigm of energy overall, where we're just supposed to surrender and allow the unfolding of the divine plan in divine timing. Even her hair is flowing, right? So allow the flow to take place. And then the last stone of choice was the amethyst quartz. Special message for amethyst quartz in the month of December. Amethyst quartz. This one's calling my attention here, if I can get it out of the middle. Okay, Hades and deep transformation. This is very different from the other messages. So the people that chose the amethyst, which is interesting because amethyst is that deep dark purple, like the violet flame of transmutation. And it says deep transformation, which can include transmutation. So I feel like you still have, and especially the first half of the month, well, almost the first half of the month, while Mercury's still in Scorpio, I feel like you're being called to really look at what other aspects of my thoughts, perceptions, and perspectives do I need to transform and change. And you could even say, what aspects of my life, what situations in my life do I need to undergo a transformation, allow a transformation to take place, that I need to really, look at my deep truth. To me, Hades would be about the deep essence of our truth, and really allowing yourself to connect to that. Be your authentic self, connect to your deep truth. What do you want as you move into 2026? What goals, what life purpose, what kind of relationship, where do you want to live, that kind of thing. What is your truth? And allow this very deep transformation, death, and rebirth process to take place for you. All right, everybody, just a little announcement. If you're watching this right out of the gate, right before December 1st or right around the first couple days of December, remember that my Rewriting Your Story in Your Akashic Records workshop is going to be on Saturday, December 6th. So if you want details about that, go onto my website, look under classes, workshops, and read all about it. And you might want to actually take advantage of rewriting your story. Thank you, everybody, for all of your love and support, your lovely comments on my YouTube videos, connecting with me on Facebook and Instagram. Checking out my meetup group page under Sacred Soul Empowerment, where all my workshops, classes, guided meditations, and other special events are listed. If you're not on my newsletter, you might want to get on my newsletter for 2026. Every month, I'll give you some spiritual information. We'll have a crystal of the month. We have discount codes on some of my services, and a host of other things. So wanting to send all of you much love and light as we complete this year of 2025. I look forward to connecting with you again in the new year of 2026 as we move into a 10 or 1 universal year. And until then, namaste, everyone.